The broadcast is now starting. All attendees are in listen-only mode.
Hello, everyone. We are in the period of the Capricorn full moon, a time of solemnity, and this is occurring in the critical degree of Capricorn, which is the 30th degree, 29 plus. And this is a synthetic degree. And it indicates a meeting of a directorate, a directing group behind the scenes, a secret meeting. We can think of this in a worldly sense, or we can think of it in terms of the spiritual hierarchy of our planet. The power of the spiritual hierarchy is particularly indicated in the sign Capricorn. Before you should be seeing the screen. We have the banner of Capricorn with a rendition of that mysterious glyph of which we cannot be certain. We have the keynotes, lost am I in light supernal, yet on that light I turn my back. And the two rulers of Capricorn, the orthodox Saturn, the esoteric Saturn, and finally the hierarchical ruler Venus. We have the glyph from the Jafra series of images showing Capricorn as the sign of great density and yet of tremendous illumination. As the mountain goat is perched on top of the rock, this really should be the unicorn with the one-pointed horn, indicating the development of the initiate. It is a sign of great age, and yet from another perspective, a sign of youth, in which the individual is reborn through the process of initiation. I've also sent to you, if you're on this list and otherwise can send it, this image from Francis Donald, which is a very occult image. It shows the aspirant to initiation having conquered the lion. In the story of the lion and the unicorn conquers the two-eyed lion and blinds him. There is the symbol of the pyramid, which is the symbol of initiation, to which the energy of Capricorn is given. Atop the pyramid is the star, or rather the planet Venus, the hierarchical ruler. Here is the symbol of the initiate as the falcon or the eagle. When you get the image, you'll see more closely, but it's carrying the Ankh, or Venus in its claws. The crocodile god is before the aspirant. There are many details to this image, and I've also sent you Francis Donald's explanation of them. The unicorn horn, or the beam of light, is moving forward from the brow of the aspirant through the all-seeing eye, which is well represented when this image is larger, all the way to the solar logos. So there is deep occultism in here. I've left out many things, but you can read about it before the actual full moon, which occurs in approximately 19 hours. And so we are all aspirants to initiation, to those expansions of consciousness which bring us more deeply into the reality of life, into life itself. Capricorn, the great sign in which death is conquered. It is the will that conquers death, and we are elevated above the dense plains indicated by the rock. We are elevated gradually towards the spiritual triad and the cosmic ethers, in which we truly begin to live. The realm of life emerges, and we leave the realm of density behind. White and one-pointed, we become the initiate and have entered into the wider life that is promised to all the true aspirants to initiation, in which we hope, among which we hope to number ourselves, if we submit ourselves, the lower self, to the proper discipline which Capricorn also rules. So if you have the time today, or whatever time it is for you, spend a half hour or an hour contemplating the major themes of Capricorn and how they relate to your life, so that you will be in a position to have as profound a meditation as may be possible for you, as significant as may be possible. And let us remember that we are entering the day of safeguarding, having passed through the days of confidence, aspiration, and dedication. For some, this is still the day of dedication. Then 12 hours on either side of the full moon, the day of safeguarding, followed by days of distribution, when we register what has happened, when we have the sense of expectancy, and finally close on the third day with the sense of belief. A very profound process, and it is a great service to humanity on behalf of hierarchy when we can participate in it fully. If there are items that show up in this meditation which you do not have, just write to me and I will send them to you. Infinitize8@gmail.com, the number 8. Infinitize8@gmail.com. That's the address there. Okay, we will then begin our meditation. It will last approximately an hour and 15 minutes. I hope to give you adequate time for contemplation on certain themes, but I also realize that when you are timing the meditation yourself, you can spend as long as you might like, but when there's a group meditation operating, and I think we have some 60 people with us from all around the world, welcome. You'll kind of have to go with my rhythm, but later you can, of course, use your own. So we will begin then achieving a degree of comfort, poise, an alert relaxation of the body. And we begin gradually to withdraw our consciousness from the vehicles of the personality, we disidentify with the personality vehicles. We know we have these vehicles, but they are not our true consciousness. And we enter progressively as the soul in incarnation, pulling back from the body, from the astral vehicle, from the lower mind. We find ourselves as the soul in incarnation and entering deeply into the soul field on the higher mental plane. So we imagine the fading out of our normal perceptions and the fading in of the light, the love, the power of the soul field. And we begin to emerge into a wider field. We realize the soul is group conscious. And we begin to use the creative imagination to enter into the sense of the group soul. All those with whom we may be meditating now and those who in soul are preparing today to meditate together, the spiritual people of the world making application through meditation. We have the sense that all over the world there are people in meditation. And we are merging with them as souls, as egos on the higher mental plane, including in heart the men and women of goodwill, the members of the new group of world servers, the well-intended people of the world, uniting in soul with them. Overcoming the sense of time and space, and including then all human beings, in incarnation, out of incarnation, considering all as souls within the one soul of humanity. The one soul of humanity. And experiencing ourselves as the soul within the one soul, we attempt to realize the reality of the second ray mantram, naught is but me. The capital Me for the one identity, the one soul. Naught is but me. The group knows there are no other selves. There is the one self, the one soul. And we feel that multiple presence, using the creative imagination to do so. And so a gigantic group meditation is in process today, climaxing at 9:21 and 24 seconds in the evening, p.m., London time. And our point of tension is building as we more vividly realize the presence of all meditators, mediating between the meditation of hierarchy and the consciousness of humanity. We are focused increasingly now in the soul-infused mind, the illumined mind, aware of the mind of light, the soul in incarnation and the soul on its own plane. But we hold the sense of that point of tension on the mental plane, which is the foundation of the individual and group rainbow bridge, the Antakarana, the beam of lighted connectivity which we are building as we aspire to the higher states of consciousness. And so let every meditating member visualize the dual-colored, two-colored individual Antakarana, or rainbow bridge, which will connect, imaginatively at least, the mental unit, the point of focus in the lower mind, with the monastic permanent atom, the point of focus in the higher mind. You visualize a dual-colored bridge. One color is the color of your soul, Ray. The other color, the color of your personality. And this dual-colored bridge, this point of tension, using red for the first ray, indigo blue for the second, green for the third, yellow for the fourth, orange for the fifth, silvery rose or light blue for the sixth, violet for the seventh. This point of tension is fed by a will aspect from the soul. The point of tension on the mental plane is fed by the will of the soul. The will to initiate for the first ray. The will to unify for the second ray. The will to evolve for the third ray. The will to harmonize for the fourth ray. The will to act for the fifth ray. the will to cause for the 6th ray, the will to expression for the 7th ray. So feel that. Attempt to feel the will aspect of the soul feeding your point of tension on the mental plane and the dual-colored antakarana which you can imagine reaching from the mental unit to the 3 points within the spiritual triad: the manasic permanent atom as a star, 5-pointed, the Buddhic or intuitive permanent atom as a figure 8, and the atmic or will permanent atom as a triangle. Realize, to the extent possible, the reality of this rainbow bridge. And if you do not know the soul or personality ray, visualize in the color indigo blue. And now there is the sense of the individual bridge, and we imagine that it is merging, blending with all the other bridges, the multicolored effect of all blending bridges of the group, as if traveling upward together in a cone or funnel. All the 7 colors of the rainbow represented, but colored especially by the indigo blue, rising toward the peak where we imagine a blue-white diamond representing the spirit aspect, and as much of Shambhala as we as a group can slightly touch. The multicolored antakaranic cone of living, vibrant fire, and we will invoke using this image. We are in our imagination rising above the group personality, even above the confines of the group soul on the higher mental plane. But in imagination, we are as if in the realm of the true soul, liberated in the realms of the spiritual triad, and towards a planetary consciousness, as if we can see from the pinnacle of the mountaintop what Capricorn can see. We can feel the deep connection of all of us under this influence of wisdom, of the triad. And now visualizing the multicolored cone, feeling our part in it, feeling our touch of the 3 points within the triad, which are essentially the mind of God, the love of God, and the will of God. We imagine a point of living whitish blue light projected from the point of tension on the mental plane all the way along the Antakarana, all the way to the highest point of the cone. And we project together, thinking together, I see the greatest light. I see the greatest light. And we will project along the note of the second ray. I see the greatest light. And in the imagined presence of this great light, in fact, the light supernal, which Capricorn conveys, we begin to feel the presence of the Great White Brotherhood, the Lodge of Masters, the spiritual hierarchy of our planet. We feel them in soul. We feel them as energy centers, expressing the 7 rays. Every one of them is increasingly present as we approach the full moon, and they too are undergoing a great meditation. And we will offer our gratitude to these higher human consciousnesses. And we will salute, offer our salutations to the great ones as DK has given in some of his meditations. And we begin with the salutation to the head of the entire hierarchy, the Christ. Salutations to the Christ, the Master of all Masters. Salutations to the Master Moria. the head of all esoteric schools and organizations. Salutations to the Master Kutumi, the Christ of the age of Capricorn, the one responsible in his ashram to promote the reappearance of the present Christ, Lord Maitreya. Salutations to the Master Joao Kuhl, the teacher from whom so many of us are presently learning through his books and meditations. Salutations to your own Master as you conceive him to be, either one of the Masters mentioned or another. Salutations to the entire spiritual hierarchy of the planet. And in this point of tension created, in this receptivity and imagined contact, we imaginatively raise our thought to Shambhala, the center where the will of God is known. Symbolically, as if the peak of the cone, the blue-white diamond light, and together identified as a group soul, we imaginatively attune to the presence of Sanat Kumara, the king of Shambhala, the Lord of the world, who can only be approached in group form. As he stands at the center of Shambhala. And as a group, we seek to become impressed by his will, some small aspect of the divine will, his plan, his purpose. And a long, silent Om we sound internally as we imagine the group and all members of the new group of world servers, men and women of goodwill, all imbued by his energy. At this time, into Shambhala, under the law of assembly, the energies are gathered and being directed towards all aspects of our planet. We will go deeper still, imagining our group, our meditating group, as a point of brilliant light. We are as if one light, one consciousness. And before us there stands a sun, and in the midst of that sun an indigo disk, a disk of indigo blue, and a long golden pathway is leading toward this indigo disk, and we, as a point of light, as a group, we are on this golden pathway together, a point of light, a point of love, a point of being. We feel our unity as the golden pathway shortens and shortens and shortens, disappearing with the point of group light into the indigo disk where now we imaginatively stand. And within this disk, within this sphere, we feel ourselves imbued by the consciousness of the Master DK, as if our meditating group can become an outpost of his consciousness. And all that we conceive now of planetary and extraplanetary energies will be as if aided by his pervading consciousness, a presence and a consciousness pervading the group. And we imaginatively align with the stream of energy emanating from the planetary representatives of Capricorn, the planet Saturn, which is the exoteric and esoteric ruler. It conveys, at first, the discipline to honor all of life's duties and karmic requirements, and esoterically, the resolve to live according to the laws of the soul, thus fulfilling one's specific dharma within the divine plan. And Venus, the beautiful planet, the hierarchical ruler, conveying to us the full illumination of the world of the soul, the full love of the world of the soul, conveying this to the eventually transfigured soul in incarnation. Saturn, Venus, we attune imaginatively to their presence. And we take them now, one by one, to go more deeply into the stream, which is daivically available to us now. The reality of these great streams of energy influencing the group, building potential, faculty into the group, subtle energy realities. Saturn, the planet of opportunity. Spiritual opportunity rather than personal opportunity. Saturn, bringing us into alignment with karmic law, helping us exercise spiritual responsibility. We try to realize that the fulfillment of our individual responsibilities and later group responsibilities is one of the first indications that one is truly living one's life in the three lower worlds according to the influences of the soul. Orthodox exoteric Saturn, bringing our lives into conformity with karmic requirements and dharmic requirements. offering opportunity. To be free of our usual attachments and preoccupations. The green ray of Saturn imbuing the group, pervading the group, felt as deep responsibility which cannot be evaded, which it is our honor to serve. Bringing us into conformity with the law. Let us go deeper as we ponder upon the power of Saturn to align us as individuals and us as a group and all spiritual groups and eventually humanity with their roles in the divine plan, ensuring conformity to the plan. Destroying the obstacles to the expression of the plan. Bringing through the atmic will from the plane on which the plan is formulated. A great power. Under Saturn, learning the meaning of voluntary sacrifice, individual sacrifice, group sacrifice, in emulation of the great sacrifice, Sanat Kumara, closely related to Saturn. And in this silence, we imaginatively perceive the influence of Saturn, its streams of energy, entering our consciousness, our energy system, the green ray of Saturn, a planet of the third ray of the first ray, entering our system, bringing us closer to hierarchy, helping us fulfill our duty in the world, making us a group agent of the divine plan, Saturn. We sound the Om on the note of the third ray. Om. the note F or Fa, the green note, the foundational note. We become friends with Saturn. We resolve to fulfill its indications. And now we carry our contemplation to the beautiful planet Venus, the hierarchical ruler. We can visualize the glyph of Venus. It can be in the color orange for the fifth ray. It can be in the color indigo, the esoteric color of the fifth ray, and also the color of the second ray, which is probably the ultimate spirit ray of Venus, or the rose color of the sixth ray, Venus. Bringing to each of us and to the group and to the wider group the quality of pure spiritual love, bringing that love into union with luminous spiritual knowledge and light. Producing wisdom, the union of the heart and mind. Venus conveying to us the supernal light atop the mountain of realization, the mountain of initiation, the union of soul and personality, of love and mind. We are as if bathed in that supernal light, conveyed through Venus from Capricorn. And in this light, we know that one day at least it will be possible to realize the secret of the soul which Capricorn guards, and the fullness of solar angelic energy can be released into the spiritualized individual and group personality. So deeply together we feel the presence of Venus on the Devic stream emanating from that sublime sacred planet. The clarity of archetypal realization in full beauty, Venus in relation to Capricorn. Perfect beauty in form. That which we will become when the solar angels have cultivated us, have civilized us in a spiritual sense. The presence of the sublime light of Venus. And we open our consciousness to impressions, to meanings, descending on the Venusian stream of energy. And as this energy flows through the group, we imagine the group using it where needed, how Venus can supplement our group functioning, and visualizing its color, however we choose to do so, we will choose the note A, the indigo note, from one perspective, and sound the Om, realizing the group infusion by the Venusian energies. These are real energies, and they are to be used throughout this period, and we are to consider ourselves as conduits for them. And as a group, we reach even higher, imaginatively, taking the group consciousness toward the Solar Logos, the great God of our solar system, the blue Logos. We feel the great second ray of the Solar Logos, the God of love wisdom, pervading every aspect of the solar system, all planets, all kingdoms, the monads, the souls, the personalities, the great God of love, through whom every constellation pours its energy, so that we may receive it. The God of love, the consuming fire. God is love. And now we focus specifically on the energy of the constellation Capricorn and its peculiar quality of light, so intensely available at this period, the light of initiation, the light which clears the way to the mountain top and produces transfiguration, thus revealing the rising sun. The light of initiation. And perhaps the group head center will feel this, and the group brow. The light of initiation. And we focus on this constellation, bringing in particularly the seventh ray of ceremonial magic at this time, along with the first and third rays of power and intelligence. Great power, great intelligence, great order. And we will enter our contemplation in the light of mind, under the influence of the multicolored cone, under the influence of the blue-white diamond, under the influence of Venus, Saturn, and the solar stream. Lost am I in light supernal, yet on that light I turn my back. Lost am I in light supernal, yet on that light I turn my back. We attempt to realize the esoteric significance of this, its application to our individual and group lives and to the life of humanity. Lost am I in light supernal, yet on that light I turn my back. Lost am I in light supernal, yet on that light I turn my back. the supernal light of the mountaintop of initiation, eventually the supernal light of the logoic plane itself, the mountaintop of the cosmic physical plane, the great light of soul, the greater light of spirit. And the 7 points of light within us must awaken to this greater light and transmit the outward streaming radiance to the face of those upon the darkened path. And lo, their way is not so dark. Behind us, the great light, blazing the light of hierarchy. Lost am I in light supernal. Yet on that light I turn my back. The veils lift. The world is revealed as light. All is light. It is a sea of light. And as souls we live in this ocean of light. We receive this light, we hold this light on this day of safeguarding. The supernal light will intensify, the pressure from above will be felt. We guard this light as we approach the full moon. We hold the necessary point of tension so that the downflow of supernal light is not interrupted. We feel the group receiving the light and preparing on the 3 days following the full moon to distribute the light. As much of the supernal light as we may touch, lightening the way of others, lightening the planet. The gift from the mountain top of our realization. Lost am I in light supernal, yet on that light I turn my back. And we carry with ourselves today this alignment, this high alignment, ultimately from the great center of things for us, from the very center of the Pleiades, from the one about whom naught may be said, our local cosmic deity. Through the constellation Capricorn, with its rays coming through the first, the third, and especially the seventh, through the heart of the sun, the solar logos, the great God of love, blazing the quality of love wisdom throughout our solar system. Through the planets Saturn and Venus, focusing upon our planet within Shambhala and centering in the planetary logos and his emanation, the Lord of the world. Thus, through our monadic nature, descending through hierarchy and through the great Lord, the Christ, through all the masters of the wisdom, and through our soul nature, consequently, and through the soul of all groups, and through the human soul itself, the soul of humanity, and into our personality nature, and the group personality nature, and the personality of humanity, spiritualizing the personality expression, empowering the chakras, the wheels of fire in our various vehicles, stimulating at this time particularly the brow center and the head center related to the atmic plane, and anchoring finally at the base of the spine, from the highest to the lowest, as Capricorn indicates. The great light descends, the great power descends. Lost am I in light supernal, yet on that light I turn my back. And we think together, how can this Capricornian energy be used in the world, applied to the upliftment and redemption of humanity? We visualize, we imagine, how can it be rightly used in accordance with the divine plan? Capricorn rules the law of elevation, called also the law of group progress. How can it be used to help humanity progress, to uplift humanity? And we think of at least one world problem, one particular problem in which the energies of Capricorn can be rightly applied, contributing to solution. And we will, with hands upraised, we will use the second ray note, transmit the blessing of this Capricorn energy into humanity, so that it may rise to its new spiritual potentials. We offer our blessing to humanity. Preserving our alignment, we will close the meditation by sounding quietly and rhythmically the great invocation, as if we are in union with the Masters of the Wisdom and all initiates and disciples everywhere, as if we are all sounding the invocation together. We will pause between the verses, and we will sound the sacred word Om, following 3 times. From the point of light within the mind of God, let light stream forth into the minds of men. Let light descend on earth. From the point of love within the heart of God, let love stream forth into the hearts of men. May Christ return to earth. From the center where the will of God is known, let purpose guide the little wills of men, the purpose which the masters know and serve. From the center which we call the race of men, let the plan of love and light work out, and may it seal the door where evil dwells. Let light and love and power restore the plan on earth. Well, thank you, everyone. I'm glad you could be with us. For some, I know it's been a very early morning or a very late night. We can see how powerful are these energies, and we can anticipate that they will be becoming more powerful as the day goes on, so let's do our best to stay in alignment with them. I've made a recording of this, hopefully both in video and reasonably in audio, and I will make this available to you. You can download it from the Hot Files site, and very soon from Makara. So there have been about 50 of us meditating, a bit more, and I'm sure with many others in the world. Let's, as a group, hold this energy now. And do our best to represent it in the world, opening ourselves to the intensifying downflow which will come as the day goes on, and realize what a privilege it is to be able to participate in this kind of service for humanity and on behalf of the hierarchy. So then, thank you, and we'll be meditating with you at the exact time of the full moon, which is, again, 9:21 and 24 seconds p.m. GMT London time. Okay. Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, and we'll see you. Bye-bye.